So let's start with creating a Hive table and then loading some data into it. Okay, and we will be loading our video game sales data, which we downloaded in previous lessons. Okay, so let's bring the terminal and go to folder Hive. Okay, since we are building Hive data pipelines. So in here, we are building our first data pipeline, which is from Hive to Elasticsearch. So open the folder called Hive to Elasticsearch. Okay, and there you will find 4 files. vgsales.csv, is the file which we downloaded. Okay, it is available here for just reference purposes. The other 3 are HQL files, and these are the files which will create the table structures and load the data into Hive and Elasticsearch. Okay, so here you can see there are 4 different files. Okay, vgsales.csv file is the data file which you also downloaded from cackle.com. Okay, the other 3 files are called HQL files, means Hive query language files. Okay, each of these files have instructions to create the table in Hive and also load some data, and there are different steps. So let's start with the first file we need. Since we are creating a data pipeline, we need a source and we also need a target. Okay, source will be Hive table and target will Elasticsearch. So to create the source table in Hive, we have a script called create vgsales. Let's open this file. All right, so everything which has hyphen hyphen is a comment. That is just for information purpose. The instructions are starting without hyphens. Okay, so here the first statement is to create the database called Udemy if it is not existing. This is a very simple SQL command we can use in Hive. Okay, it will create the database called Udemy. Then we are saying everything happening after this statement should be done under Udemy database. Okay, so next statement is to drop vg underscore sales table if it is already existing. Okay, if the table is not there, then nothing will happen. Next statement, which is to create this table, this is the one which we are interested in. So let me scroll down a bit so you can see the full command. So from here to here, this is one command and it is creating a table called vg underscore sales in Hive. Okay, so we will not go in details into all the Hive instructions in this course, but I'll give you a little bit about Hive in case you don't know. So the first statement says create external table vg underscore sales. Okay, so basically we are telling the system to create a new table called vg underscore sales. Okay, and this will be an external table, meaning its data will be stored somewhere else and the schema information will be stored somewhere else. Okay, you don't need to go into detail at this moment. Okay, just use this statement as it is. Then in next line we have the column, the type of the column, and some comment about that column. Okay, so all the fields which are there in our data file, in the same order we want them to be defined in Hive table vg sales. Okay, so our first column is rank and it has a value of type integer. Then we have a name which is string, platform, year, genre, publisher, so and so forth. Okay, so all these are in the same order in which the CSV file is being created. Okay, the next statement is row format sorting. So here, since we are using a CSV file, we need to tell Hive how to read this file. Okay, so here we are doing that. Okay, next is we are telling Hive to store the data as a text file. All right, then we are also saying that this data will be stored at this location in Hadoop, and this is This is SDFS location, okay, and I have created a directory called slash dev final Udemy VG underscore sales. So all the data for this table should be stored under this SDFS directory. Okay. Lastly, we are saying that this particular table should ignore the first line of the data file, because when you open the CSV file, the first line is the header. Okay, and we don't want to ingest the header and consider it as part of the data itself. Okay, so this will skip the first line. All right, so let's run this file and we'll see how the table is created. And we can run it simply by typing hive -f create VG sales table. Once we run it through this command, we are invoking Hive and we are passing it a script file, which is our .html file, and asking it to run all these steps one by one in the order in which they are mentioned in the file. Okay, so let's press enter. So first it will create a connection with Hive, okay, and then it will start running all the instructions, and you can see it has already started running the instructions. We are getting these status back saying okay, which means that particular instruction was successful. So we had 4 instructions, all of them were successful. If I open a Hive session now, I should see a new database called Udemy, and under that database a new table should be added, which is VG underscore sales. So let's do that. Let me open another window. Okay, let's enter Hive. Okay, now we'll write same command, use Udemy semicolon. Okay, so we are in the database called Udemy, and here we should see the table VG sales. Okay, we are basically describing the table here by using Hive command DESC, which is short form for describe table. Okay, so if I press enter, you can see it has all the columns which we mentioned in our create statement. If I do a select on this table now, let's see what happens. And we don't want to pull all the records. If there are any records in it, we don't want all the records to be printed out, so let's limit it to 5 records. So as we expected, it's a blank table as of now. We have to load the data. Okay, and to load the data, there are various ways to do it in Hive. The simplest is to copy the file into the location where the table is looking for. Okay, or the location where Hive table is storing its all data files. Okay, so let's do that. Let's open it in the different session. So here we have file vgsales.csv. Let's copy it to Hadoop. Okay, and we can do that by Hadoop fs minus put command vgsales, and we want it on dev final Udemy vgsales. Enter. So what we have done here is we have just copied the file from our local system to SDFS, and that SDFS location is where the data for that particular table will be stored. Now if I go back to our Hive session and do a select again, it will find out that file is there in its location, and it will pull the 5 records out of it. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so earlier when we ran the same command, there was no data, so nothing was returned. Now you can see it has some data, and this data is coming from the file which we just uploaded on SDFS file system. Okay, so this is the first part of our data pipeline. The second part will be to create the target system, okay, where the data will be moved from Hive to Elasticsearch, and that we will cover in the next video.